Hey guys, Kian here, and this is the preparation video for the Raspberry Pi OpenGL tutorial series, or at least the first introduction to OpenGL tutorial series. So I made a small trailer for this probably about a couple months ago now, and I got caught up. I started focusing on the Fantasy Star Online Portable series, and I wasn't able to get out of that. Now I actually need to work on updating my visa because it's in January now. I need to renew it by March, but that's mostly just getting documents together, so I should be fine. I think I've got some time to, I do have a little bit of time to make videos when I'm not working on that at night. So this series is going to be focusing mostly on how to do C with OpenGL on the Raspberry Pi, and the idea specifically is kind of to target devices like this. So the idea is that the idea is mostly that it's there to emulate what it would be like to program for the PlayStation or the Dreamcast or the GameCube or something like that. So we're using C and we're using pretty low level APIs. And so the elephant in the room is kind of like this. Well, if you wanted to try programming for a console, then you could just program for a console, because there are a lot of open source SDKs, and the SDKs are available for them. But I think the idea is doing is open source and doing it with flexibility. You get more introduction to Linux, and it gives you more flexibility in terms of like refresh rate, resolution, and what kind of buttons you want, and just expandability. So you can go from very low, very simple 2D graphics up to high level 3D graphics, and kind of expand with the platform. So that's what I kind of think is pretty cool about the idea of using OpenGL on a kind of like an embedded device on this. Now this isn't necessarily embedded. Automatic light. This isn't necessarily embedded because you can put a window library like Xorg or Wayland on here, and you've pretty much got a full desktop. But in terms of RetroPie, it doesn't actually boot to a desktop, and that's kind of the unanticipated but the unanticipated kind of course of all this, because I originally wanted to look into how would you make games and applications that start from RetroPie and run natively on the Pi, and I found that RetroPie doesn't actually run a Windows desktop. It automatically logs in a user, and then it boots to its own retro station, and then if you want to run games from it, okay, and then on RetroPie we're going to want to go into the configuration, and there's a little bit of glare here. This kind of assume that you've already connected to the internet before, and we're going to go ahead and connect to show IP. And ours is 192.168.4.3, and we're going to say OK. And the next thing we're going to want to do is go to Raspbian config. And then we're going to want to go to boot options. And we're going to want to go to desktop CLI. And we're going to want to say console. If you want to change it back, all you have to do is go to console auto login, and that's going to restore you to RetroPie. And would you like to reboot now? We'll go ahead and say yes. I actually was using there. So that's going to go ahead and boot up, and it'll actually boot up the console instead of booting up to RetroPie, and then this is the splash screen. So once this comes up in a second, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the computer here, and I'm just going to be super unprofessional and just kind of do it like this. So here we have it's booted up, and we have our IP address is 192.168.4.3. So we're going to come over here and say, it says the SSH server on the client. So I had to go back and log back into the Raspberry Pi and then enable that. So I completely screwed that over in my previous section. So yeah, as far as failure goes, we are continuing to fail everything. Okay, we're going to go ahead and log in with Raspberry. And then I don't think Git is installed. It actually is already installed on RetroPie. So all we need to do now is go clone with HTTPS, say git clone, and then paste our Git URL from gitlab.com/-dashgl/helloshark. And any minute now, because this is the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, and it is still generally pretty slow for desktop applications. And on top of that, I'm running Mozilla and XFCE, which is not the fastest thing. Or it looks like it just didn't get the what? Clone HTTPS copy, and then go back here and then paste. Okay, and then this is going to clone into HelloShark. And now it's nighttime and my internet is also probably going to be slow because I'm over an LTE connection. But we're getting there. Slowly. Very, very slowly getting there. 59 of 89. Okay, it jumped a few percent points. I'm starting to wonder how much I'm going to have to edit down this video because this is something I thought would be generally pretty simple of just describing which devices worked, which devices have quirks, taking a Raspberry Pi 3 with RetroPie, turn off set to log into console without auto login, connect to Wi-Fi, and then enable the SSH server, and then on a different server, log in with SSH, and then git clone the HelloShark project. So that's where we are at now. So if we go to HelloShark, there should be various folders, and if we go to 01 triangle, so you want to say cd01 triangle ls, and then in each one there's going to be a build.sh. Now there is an issue because when I wrote this, revision.h was required, but it has actually been taken out. So we actually need to go to main.c, and then take out revision.h, and then save that. And then we also need to go to build.sh. Oh no, that's not it. That's not it. vi build.sh, and then go to revision. I think remove revision. Go ahead and save that, and then try building one more time. Oh, and that actually has one more spot where it gets caught up inside of main, the detecting Raspberry Pi 3 versus Raspberry Pi 4. And then we go ahead and remove that, and then we build it. Okay, and then once we're there, we can go ahead and run it. And then this is where I need to cut back to my cell phone. So I'll go ahead and cut here. We have a triangle. We hit Control C. Triangle goes away. Then we hit A dot out again, and we have the triangle again. So this is the idea where you have one computer up here, which is your programming computer, and then your device, your deployment and client computer. So this is kind of the intended way to take these tutorials. And so my plan is I've got about eight different tutorials. So my plan is to make a video for each one and then just kind of go through it and make my way through that way. So I guess I've got some editing to do now to try and make this miserable failure kind of look like a semblance of a video. And then I guess I need to start working on the online tutorials for the actual web page and the website. But yeah, these rather than any kind of like completed tutorials, this is just kind of me clawing my way through this, or crawling my way through this, whichever one, kicking, screaming, and crying my way through this, just to kind of get something set, get it draft out, get something set up, and then hopefully this can become something more polished later on, eventually. But for right now, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap this video up. This is Keon, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.